Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Dr. Dale Blasi about the practical uses of drones for livestock producers. Next, enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. And then we're back with Kyle and Dr. Ray Asebedo, who talk about UAV's on-farm uses for crop producers. Next, it's the Kansas Farm Bureau update, and then we hear from a cattle producer about the advantages of using natural progress in his operation. We'll end with plain talk.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle and K-State's Dr. Dale Blasi as they discuss uses for quadcopters in cattle operations.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer at the Kansas Farm Bureau building, visiting with Dale Blasi. Dale, you're in the animal science department, and you're going to be talking about drones or unmanned flying apparatuses.
That's correct, Kyle. We're actually looking at the application of quadcopters for use with beef applications. And you sit down and think about the several places where they may come in handy. We're certainly exploring those venues, as well as looking at how we can enhance our research with newly arrived, highly stressed stocker calves.
Well, you know, that is a great point. You have that one animal that's over the hill that's maybe, not easy to see from the ground, but you can find him with that and then go deal with it.
That's absolutely right. And the really neat thing about technology is that it's always improving. And I just saw last week a friend who had FLIR camera capabilities for his iPhone. Imagine, if you will, having the capability of utilizing a specialized camera on an unmanned vehicle or a quadcopter to look for animals during the evening hours if you don't have them in a pasture trap to do any calving or anything. I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially for inventorying animals.
Now, the average farmer is in his upper 50s. Can the average farmer run one of these?
Practice makes perfect, and I'd be the first to admit that on a couple of my initial maiden voyages with the machine, I actually did turn it upside down on the pavement. So it does take a little bit of practice. It takes a little bit of patience, but anybody can certainly do it.
On a day without a lot of wind, how fast will they fly, or how fast can you cover a section of ground?
We basically have about 20 minutes of airtime, and there's several factors that affect the longevity of these specialized batteries. Cold weather will certainly impact the performance of the vehicle. Extreme heat, wind certainly makes the motor have to work much quicker and more harder to meet where it needs to go. But on individual flights, I've gone out a maximum of 5,000 foot from my point of where I released it at, and I've gone out as almost to a mile utilizing this particular model.
So I could probably do a fair job of looking around at least a half a section and maybe even a section too. But if I see something, then I can go in and get a closer look. Well,
certainly. And you think about a high rain event where water gaps might be going out, or maybe basically programming the unit to fly all of the water tanks to check on the whatever apparatus may be, but to do a quick fly, especially if the ground is too wet to take a vehicle out on. I think there's a lot of opportunities to utilize this particular technology.
We're visiting with Dale Blasi. He's with Kansas State University. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Kansas Farm Bureau. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages from our sponsors for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Brought to you in part by the 64th Annual Eskridge Labor Day Rodeo, September 3rd and 4th.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
If you love rodeo, mark your calendar right now for the 64th Annual Labor Day Rodeo in Eskridge on September 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. This is entertainment for your whole family. Calf roping, steer mugging, barrel racing, and more. Now, let's rodeo. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Mike Steenhoek, who serves as Executive Director of the Soy Transportation Coalition, joins us. And Mike, you were down in Panama to be a part of the reopening of the expanded Panama Canal earlier in the summertime.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to witness that. The inaugural transit occurred on June 26th, and it was a real opportunity to see a major development in global commerce, happen before your eyes. And we think that expanded canal will really have benefit for U.S. agriculture, including the soybean industry. And so it was great to be a part of it.
And it's one of those, too, that really the foreign buyers, they pay as much attention, really deliveries and being able to have that expansion in the Panama Canals. We probably haven't seen the effects yet, but it's pretty exciting to know what those could be.
Yeah, we really anticipate agriculture to utilize the expanded canal later this year after our harvest really comes online. But it really has the potential to lower the delivered price for a bushel of soybeans to our customers primarily in Asia. That'll only just help us maintain and possibly expand our competitive advantage in the international marketplace.
And you can go no further in saying that soy is the number one U.S. ag commodity using the canal itself.
Yeah, we currently ship about 600 million bushels of soybeans, U.S. soybeans, through the canal, and so that's the number one ag customer. And so we see that likely to increase in the future. And so it's great that one link in our logistics chain is getting stronger. We need to make sure that our ports, our inland waterways, our roads and bridges, and our rail infrastructure keep pace with that so that this is not a missed opportunity for us.
And that's a big part of that, due in part because of what many consider how far behind some of those things are.
Yeah, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And so, yes, the Panama Canal link in our chain is getting stronger, but we need to embrace more of an investment mentality in this country, not a spending mentality in this country, and that means that we invest properly in each link in that chain, our ports, our inland waterways, our rail, our roads and bridges. If we don't, agriculture won't profit like it should.
Because the competition for soybeans out there, that market's going to stay, I would think, just as competitive.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones that can produce soybeans, and we're not the only ones that will utilize the expanded canal. Our friends in Brazil certainly will utilize the expanded canal, and so we need to make sure that we can get product to our customers in the most cost-effective, reliable fashion. That's what's been contributing to our success in the past. We hope it will in the future.
That is Mike Steenhoek, Executive Director of the Soy Transportation Coalition. He joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Stay with us after this break for Kyle's visit with Dr. Ray Asebedo about on-farm uses of UAVs for crop producers.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand. And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
We're back with Kyle and K-State's Dr. Ray Asebedo.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Dr. Ray Asebedo. We are at Kansas Farm Bureau today. Their commodity groups are meeting. Dr. Asebedo has been talking about UAVs, or unmanned aerial vehicles. And you're with the agronomy department. How do you see the use of these vehicles when it comes to agronomy?
Right now, I see them as having the potential to be a very valuable tool for use in agronomy for making various types of on-farm management decisions, such as your nitrogen recommendations. Variable rate nitrogen recommendations cost farmers a lot of money with the appropriate algorithm, or the brain, if you will. We're trying to give that drone an agronomic PhD, and so that it can help you decide what is the yield for your farm and also what kind of fertility program you need to run.
Now, the tools that we have on these UAVs have really been available for a while, but it was involving an airplane or a satellite in order to do it. This, you can do it on your own time and your own schedule.
That's correct. You know, satellite imagery has been around for a long time, since the 70s, since Landsat 1 went up, had a lot of potential. But the big thing is about drones is that now with the flight controller technology making so literally anybody can fly, it's a very convenient solution that farmers themselves can throw it in the back of their pickup, run to a field, and it'll fly up in the air, fly the field, and with the right K-State algorithm, give them a yield estimation and a nitrogen recommendation.
Literally within minutes.
Literally within minutes. We're talking about around 25 minutes to fly a 160-acre field usually.
So what sort of things can I hope to direct for my UAV? Fungicides, fertility, insecticides, which of those?
Right now we're building algorithms to try to help it so that a drone can give you recommendations on whether or not you should apply your fungicide, help identify where the problems are in the field, or identify the stress. Is it disease? Is it water stress? Is it nutrient? And so we're trying to make it to apply to a number of different crops, to your livestock. And so the more applications it can have on the farm, that means higher return on investment. And so that way the farm makes more profit per acre across many different years.
Now, how close are these algorithms available for the public?
For crops like winter wheat and grain sorghum, they're very close. Like for making yield estimations and nitrogen recommendations on winter wheat, we've been validating for the past couple years. And so I'm really hoping for in 2017 we can make them publicly available.
So the average farmer is 58 years old. Can the average 58-year-old farmer fly one of these?
Actually, yeah. You know, there's actually a number of 60-some-year-old farmers that I know that have purchased one and flown them. They said they've flown them into trees and sometimes themselves, but, you know, they're playing around with it as a toy. But, you know, the farm being multi-generational, that 58-year-old farmer has like a 20-year-old grandson out there or granddaughter, and they're actually the ones that I've met that are actually running the drone and taking care of the flights and those things, because that's the younger generation. That's what they're interested in.
We're talking with Dr. Ray Asebedo. He's with the agronomy department at Kansas State University. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Manhattan. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Stay tuned for the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
The crop production forecast from the National Ag Statistics Service predicts a record corn and soybean harvest this fall. American Farm Bureau Federation Market Intelligence Director John Newton explains the numbers.
USDA projected the corn yield for this new crop at 175.1 bushels per acre. That's a new record. A similar scenario happened on soybeans. We saw USDA forecast soybean yield at 48.9 bushels per acre. So these were very big production numbers, and if realized, would set a record for both crops.
While Newton says the forecast means lower prices for farmers, he cautions that the yield forecast could change heading into harvest, providing the potential to improve current low crop prices.
We still have key growing season for soybeans left. August temperature and precipitation data is yet to be known. For corn, issues on tip-back are still unknown at this point, so there's still opportunity for these prices to improve.
Given the current crop price circumstance, Newton expects federal programs to help farmers this year.
The golden age of agricultural incomes is over for the most part. We've seen corn prices decline from their record highs of 2012 and 2013, and while we're producing more per acre at these lower prices, farm revenue has also continued to decline. But the good thing is we do have crop insurance. It's likely the revenue protection programs for corn and beans may kick in this year on these price declines alone.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Hope you enjoyed the Kansas Farm Bureau update. After the break, learn how one producer changed and expanded his operation, even when faced with adversity.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Thanks for coming back to Farm Factor. Now here's a cattle producer who understands change is always on the horizon.
Slowly building up their natural beef program, Top End Farms has always been focused on the next step.
We retain ownership all the way. We feed them ourselves at home. Humane handle all these cattle through walking the animals from pastures to the pens. And our operation's close enough we can do that without hauling them. We give vaccination shots as babies and as when we wean and in the feed yard. We keep expanding every year for different numbers because of premiums we get through producing top quality Angus beef.
With help from GeneMax testing and AI, selecting cattle for growth, marbling, disposition, and udder quality has become easier.
Gainability still pays the bills, so you have a big enough animal to sell when your time comes. So by doing that, increasing that carcass weights at the top side and increasing the genetics for high choice and primes, we felt that by changing bulls over and keeping our genetics, we keep increasing as we go up.
Slowing down wasn't an option when faced with drought in 2010 and 2011.
And we fed cows in the summer to get us through the year. We didn't want to sell our cows if we didn't have to. So we just kept expanding the herd by keeping more heifers that we knew the genetics was coming. We just had to keep doing it.
They've invested in a ranch near Valentine, Nebraska to spread out weather-related risks. With that comes more opportunity for the future.
Our focus is to produce enough calves that in time our feed yard will be self-sustained through the producing of all of our calves off our own genetics into the yard and then sell them on up the line, which I think is a win-win for everybody. Talk about sustainability. No better word for us is keep going forward. Don't stop.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Come back after the break for Plain Talk with Kyle Bauer and Dwayne Taves.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except for when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground, and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting and it didn't get better. And so I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And he said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I thought, I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. And I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio and gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back for Plain Talk's look at penguins.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Dwayne Taves.
You tried to run that one by me.
What?
You were nearly going to start before I was prepared.
Oh.
And I'm always prepared. Everybody knows how prepared I am.
This is a highly succinct show.
The last three times, we never even got to what we were going to talk about, I don't think.
Yeah, well, the good news is our show material goes a lot further when we don't use any of it.
Fact or fiction is thought-provoking and stimulating.
Yeah.
For example,
a
male penguin. He checks out the herd of female penguins out there.
Only in the southern hemisphere.
I have no idea.
There's no penguins in the northern hemisphere.
They're not?
Well, except in zoos.
I was going to say,
not
I saw
in the
one,
wild.
saw one in San Diego. A male penguin decides the female penguin that he's going to approach as a mate. He picks out and searches the beach for the perfect pebble, picks up that pebble, and drops it at her foot. If she accepts the pebble, they are now penguin, Mr. and Mrs. Penguin.
I think... Did
Fact
I see
or
this
fiction?
in like some animated movie, or did I see this on a Discovery Channel, or did I have this in a bad dream?
It was.
I think that's to be
It was
true.
a TV commercial, but
Was it a TV commercial?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I'll tell you more about it later.
All right. Well, since it was on a commercial, I believe it to be true.
That's what it says. That really in the
What
wild.
does she do with that rock after she accepts it?
Probably picks it up and thunks him in the head with it, I guess. I don't know.
Tucks
What
it
do
under
most
her
women
wing?
do with a rock?
Put it on their finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little hard for a penguin. They don't have fingers.
They don't? Put it on their flipper.
They have flippers.
Uh-huh.
And they have feeties.
I have seen a lot of video of swimming penguins. They're quite the swimmers.
Oh, yeah. That's one of our favorite stops at the zoo when we go to the zoo, if they have a penguin
You're a
exhibit.
zoo person. I'm not a zoo person.
Our family likes the zoo.
Yeah. Not to stay.
Just to visit.
Just to visit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's clarify.
Yeah. No, I bet there isn't a year goes by your family doesn't go to a zoo somewhere.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
And Omaha is one that's fairly common for people in the Midwest to go to. We go every several years.
Except for me. Never been there.
I said fairly common.
Yeah.
You are
I'm not.
uncommon.
I'm fairly uncommon.
Yes.
Okay.
They have a great penguin exhibit there, and
Really?
I like watching the penguins swim in the water.
And do they come shooting out and thump?
Yeah,
stay there?
sometimes they
That's
do.
what
Other times they just keep swimming back and forth.
Yeah, but I've seen, where they all, like, if they want to get up on the land, they don't just,
Yeah.
saunter up there.
Oh, no.
Come flying up the, ta-da!
Well, they don't have any hands to pull themselves up. You got to get enough clearance that your feet get there.
So that's the way they get out of the water every time.
Yes, absolutely.
They go blowing out of there.
Yeah.
That's cool. And they aren't the greatest at walking either.
No, they kind of paddle around.
Uh-huh.
They don't have knees.
Man,
I'm just making that up. I don't know whether they do or
They
not.
don't have a place to put their ring.
Well, look at a
their
penguin. I don't think they have knees. They're
I'll be
one
honest.
joint. They have a one joint leg
Why do you think God made penguins?
to eat little fishes in the ocean
That's their job, is to eat little fishes.
and provide food source for
Walruses
walrus
and seals.
Seals. Yeah,
Tastes like chicken, boys.
there you go.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.